Hey guys, it's Boo Boo Berry, and today I want to talk about decks, supplied lines, skull totems, and burn cards. And I also want to recommend certain deck cards that might be advantageous for you in a match. So I'm in Fort Hope right now. I just loaded in. I'm in a training ground. I highly recommend you go here just to get a feel for each of the guns in the game. Okay, so you can go to each vendor to access the menu, or you can just press the touchpad. Now in the menu, you have deck supply lines. Let's talk about decks. A deck is basically a loadout for each game, for each match. When you press quick play, you're going to get dumped into a random character. You're not using your deck then, okay? After that match is done, then that's when you get to choose your character and your specific loadout. So under campaign decks is you can use it for campaign and quick play. Swarm decks is I'm not I haven't played this mode, so I'm not sure if you can use it, but I'm pretty sure you can only use campaign decks. So if you play Swarm mode, then work with the Swarm decks. There are training decks. I haven't played it, so I don't know. My main focus is campaign decks because I play quick play. So we're gonna talk about the deck first, the deck cards, the deck and the deck cards, and then we're gonna go to burn cards. Okay. So when you go to deck, click on campaign decks. You're gonna have a starter deck or loadout when you begin. You can use it if you want, or you can create your own deck. When you create your own deck, you have 15 perks here, 15 cards. Just think of it as perks in a game. Your loadout and your perks. So it's very generous, right? And you can name your custom deck here, and then once you have all your loadout, you can click Save Deck. So I have two right now, Double Trouble and Melee, right? So the deck cards are cards that you keep that you can use for your loadout. The burn cards are cards that you can only use in one match. When you start the match, you get the option to select the burn card. And you can give yourself a better weapon. You can, give your entire team, resistance and things like that. But each burn card can only be used in the match. Once you're done with the match, it's gone. If you leave the match, it's gone. If your entire team dies, it's gone. Okay, so that's the burn card. So use it judiciously. Uh, so where do you purchase the cards? You go to supply lines. There are two tracks here, supply point and skull totem. Okay, for the supply point track, you have 4 different tracks within that. And you can use your supply point, which is indicated by the red cubes up top, in the top right there. And supply points can be earned as you playing, right? When you win a match, you have two types of points. You have the supply points, you have copper. Now copper, it's only good as long as you play that match or that act or the chapter. The moment that you quit the match, then you lose the copper. You don't keep the coppers. The supply points you take with you to your own profile. Okay, so um, you go into each of the tracks in the supply point, and you can either purchase the entire track by going to the last card here and then press X and press purchase the entire track, or so complete. It will refresh. You'll see the thing. You see it how it's completed, and then it's going to refresh. Uh, or you can purchase individual cards, but it'll total out to be the same anyway. But in order to purchase, you have to unlock the first card to purchase the next card. Um, and if you don't purchase the entire track here, it won't refresh. So I highly recommend just purchase the entire track, and eventually it'll refresh. Now, so that's the supply track using supply points. Okay, the skull totem track is different. Skull totem track use exclusively skull totems, and you can get outfits here. You're not going to get outfits in the supply point track. You may get a spray paint. You may get a little bit of a random skin, but I don't remember getting skin there. I get skin here. You get skin here. You get cards. You get deck cards here. You get burn cards here. So you have to use the skull totems. And how do you get the skull totems? you have to play hive and inner lair. Now you can find the entrance to the hive on a map. Not all the maps will have a hive entrance. So when you could spot a hive entrance when someone like Holly says there's a hive nearby. I think she's good at spotting hives. Um, but you can see it by the glowing crater in a map. It's usually tucked away in a corner somewhere, so just keep an eye out for it. You gather all the cleaners into the crater, and it will give you a timer, and within 5 seconds, it'll dump you into the hive, right? So when you're in the hive, when you start, it's going to give you corruption cards, and one of the cards is skull totems. So you select the skull totem so that you can collect them during the hive. There are 3 skull totems per hive, and within each hive, there is an inner lair. When you go into the inner lair, you are guaranteed to get 3 skull totems if you beat it. The inner lair is just basically an arena where you have to open doors to find the totems and the exit, and you have to fight bosses and things like that. But I'll do another video on how to do these things, like tips and tricks and stuff. Okay, so when you're in a hive and you only find 2 totems, but you spot an inner lair, go to the inner lair, because when you start the inner lair, the skull totems that you found in the hive will be saved. So you guarantee those two skull totem that you found. Um, the reason you want to go into the inner lair, because you may not find the last. You have to sacrifice the last totem, right? But if you go into the inner lair, you get 5 instead of 3. You sacrifice the inner lair, you get only 3 skull totems. So just go to the inner lair. Don't lose sleep about not finding the 3rd one. Always go to the inner lair. So that's how you get skull totems, okay? And you can only use skull totems on the collector track, on the skull totem track there. So that's how you get the cards. Supply points will get you deck card, burn cards. Right now I only have burn cards because I've gone through, I've collected all my deck cards. And burn cards are good, so just buy them because you're going to use them per match anyway. And let's see. So that's basically it. You got deck, you got supply lines, you got skull totems. I want to point out something, a little bit of a tip that I learned. So in my custom deck here, let's say Double Trouble, some of the cards that I highly recommend, the first one is Breakout card. This will give you the ability to break out when you grab by a stalker, or a pin by an urchin, or pinned down by a sleeper, those things in the wall. You can use this to break out, and I think the cooldown is 60 seconds, right? There is also a burn card right here that is called Slippery When Wet, when you give each of your teammate the ability to do breakout. But again, because it's a burn card, you'll lose it after the match. Let's go back to deck. So that's the first card I recommend. The second card is the combat knife. It can be used as a melee weapon, and it will count as a melee weapon. So if you have Holly and she restores 1 health after with every kill, with the knife you can do that. It'll benefit from the melee as well. So if your loadout is a guns focus, definitely get the combat knife, because you're not going to be able to punch your way through the zombie horde. Trust me, I've had to do that when I spawn into randos that have 0, that the loadout doesn't have a combat knife or the breakout card, and I just die. There's not much you can work with that. So that's the second one. Those are that's like the staple of my loadout with guns. I have a melee deck here that I don't use the card for, because I'm always going to have to use the melee weapon, right? So there's no need for the card for the combat knife, so I just load that spot with something else. The third card that I recommend is the admin. First of all, these two are tied together. 2 for 1 and 1 is none, is when you can use 2 primary weapons, so you're not locked into just using the sidearm, for like sidearm guns or the melee weapon in that spot. You can have an assault rifle, you can have a shotgun in that spot if you want to. The penalty is the negative 25% swap speed, but you can you know, negate that by having swap speed, right? I have a lot of swap speed and damage here. So I have no problem with this loadout. So related to that is the admin reload, where you stow your weapon and it automatically reloads. So if I'm shooting one gun, I holster it, shoot the other gun, and the other gun, the holster gun is already reloading. So that's, if you're running two guns, I definitely recommend that. And focus on swap speed, not reload speed. You're running two primary guns. And you can use swap speed for, you know, if you don't want to run the two primary guns, but I find the two primary guns just shoot harder. So you can focus on swap speed for the other one too, but if you want. So those are the 4 cards that I recommend. This life insurance gives you 2 extra life. Um, and scar tissue is another one that I like, is you take 1 less damage from all ridden, and you're acid resistant too. There is another card that gives you 2 health back, but I can't remember what it is. So just go through the cards, pick out your playstyle that best suit you, and you know, get that loadout for yourself. This loadout will be for every cleaner. So play to the strength of the cleaner. You can create, you know, a deck card for each of the cleaner if you want to. But that takes a lot of time, and I haven't had time to do it. So, you know, you're not tied. You know, melee is not going to be tied to Holly. So just do as many loadouts you want. And just remember, you know, if you look online, it's going to be like, this is the ultimate melee loadout or whatever. It might not work for you. So just do you, get your own deck, get your own loadout, and do it that way, you know. Just try to have fun. The whole point is have fun. And you can see each cleaner has their own perks, you know, their own um, uh, uh, given perks already. Just play to that. Like Walker has 10% damage, 10% team health. So do the gun, do the weak spot, because when he pings a mutation, you get damage on that too. So yeah, so that's the deck. Don't be bothered, you know, don't let people tell you how to play it. You play it however you want to. But the important thing is try to get into the hive, okay? And do the hive and the inner layer to get the skull totems. They, you know, it's only 5, right? 5 to 6 per hive. So it takes a while to build up. But that's it. I hope you enjoy the game. I think it's really fun playing with friends, and there are some really good people. Oh, I want to mention, when you see a duffel bag in the game, grab it. That is how you get skins. Okay, that's how you get skins for your guns. Get the duffel bag, and yeah, just have fun. So thanks for watching. Please feel free to leave comments below. You know, I love to learn about new things as well, because I just started this game maybe like a month ago. So yeah, if you have anything, any tips and tricks, please leave them below. Any questions, leave them below, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Thanks, guys. I will see you in the next one.